what stands out the most to you about this passing offense you guys are getting ready to play in South Carolina and the strengths that you guys are going to be going against?
I would say, they have a very dynamic offense with a really good quarterback, really good skill players. They got some pretty good running backs. So overall, they just have a really explosive offense and very dynamic.
What does David Daniel bring to this defense if he's the one that's ended up starting in Javon's place?
David, he's a hard worker. He's somebody who comes in day out, tries to do his absolute best to be whatever he can for the team. And he comes in, he brings in that hard hitting ability that he calls himself Hitman. So he brings that with him as well.
And when we talked to Coach Smart about you, he mentioned that you do everything like a pro. You practice like a pro. You go through meetings like a pro. Has it always been like that since you've been here at Georgia? And what's the key to approaching the game of football like a professional?
I would say since I've gotten here, I've tried to, just be on my P's and Q's just because when I first got here, I learned the standard quickly just from the older guys that were here, guys like Speed, DK, Lewis, Chris, just seeing how they approach every day. I learned very quickly about, how to come in day out and, just put my head down and go to work.
Yeah, what have your conversations been like with Dalen in terms of, him now moving sort of into that starting role? Obviously, he rotates with Julian, but as he sort of continues to get more comfortable and confident in that cornerback role, obviously.
Really, just with him, just letting him know that it's really a long season. It's a marathon, not a sprint. So there's gonna be a lot of highs. There's gonna be some lows. It's just always just next play mentality, next game mentality.
With Alabama's loss Saturday night, Georgia now has the longest home win streak. Is there an extra pride with home games? You guys talk about defending the Sanford Stadium, anything like that?
I would say we take every game extremely seriously, but it is kind of different whenever you're at home, in front of your home fans, and 93,000. It just kind of hits different. So it definitely plays a bit of a factor, but I'd say it's just more of like a little bit of extra motivation just playing in front of your home fans in your home state.
Kamari, what do you feel like are the strengths of AJ Harris? We got to see him through these first couple games.
AJ is a young, talented, hard worker. He has a certain mentality about him that he just wants to do everything to the best of his ability. He just wants to be the best at whatever it is that he's doing. Whether it's covering, whether it's tackling, he just wants to be the best. You can see that day in, day out. How he approaches every day.
Jamon said that with this being the SEC opener, there's a chance to make a statement. One, what changes with it going to the SEC play in terms of practice and stuff? And two, what is that statement that y'all want to try to make?
I would say, definitely, we have to flip the switch whenever we, start playing the SEC just because, league play is different, SEC is different, we pride ourselves on being one of the best conferences in the country. So, we're going against the best teams in the country. So, whenever that happens, you have to turn your really level of play up a notch just to be able to compete at a high level.
It's probably been a while since you've rotated, at least as that other corner. With these young guys or these other guys rotating across from you, is it hard for them to get a rhythm, or have you given them any tips for staying hot, maybe on the sideline when it's not necessarily their turn, when they might be rotating to the next possession?
Whenever you kind of rotate, I don't feel like it's hard to get a rhythm just because, once you get in the game, it's just like, okay, boom, now I'm in the game. But I feel like, it's kind of hard to stay focused, just trying to get the mental reps whenever you're not in is definitely tougher than getting the reps whenever you are actually in. So I think the biggest thing for whenever guys are rotating is just making sure that you get the mental reps of what's going on whenever I'm not in the game, so that whenever I am in the game, I could lock in, have attention to detail, and see, what I saw on the sideline.
I wonder, when you go into a different stadium, what are some of the nuances that you look for? I know they're all 100 yards long, 53 yards wide, all that, but in terms of, do you try to locate the play clock, or are there certain things about stadiums that you have to kind of sort of get a feel for in the pregame, or for you personally, comfort level?
I would say The only thing that I really search for, like in terms of nuances, is like whenever we play at like a pro stadium, and you have to see wherever the numbers are, because say you play at an NFL stadium, the numbers are different than they are in college. So that's probably the only really thing.
Or when you go up against a quarterback like Spencer Ware, who can move around and not necessarily scramble, but keep plays alive, as a defensive back, what challenges does that present, knowing that, you know, he can extend plays and that you've got to kind of pay attention to too?
Right. I mean, it's really critical for us because, you know, with his ability to extend plays, that means that sometimes we might have to cover for longer. So that means that we have to stay locked in on our man, you know, because whenever a quarterback starts to scramble, you know, it turns into backyard football. So receivers just start doing everything they can to get open. So it's really just about, you know, having elite effort at that point, because there's no rule book to, you know, how to cover backyard football. You just gotta guard your guy.
When you have a safety like Malachi behind you, who is so athletic and can cover so much ground, as a corner, how does that maybe change how you play and maybe allow you to be a bit more aggressive, knowing you've got someone behind you that can't help erase mistakes like that?
Right. So I'd say it really benefits my game, just knowing that, you know, I have guys on the back end that can make, you know, those extraordinary plays like he did last week. So whenever I go into a game, and, you know, I go in very comfortable knowing that, you know, my back end guys are going to be right there with me, you know, no matter the call.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think I saw you on punt return on Makami's touchdown. Talk us through that play and what it means to play teams for you, because I think you're one of like 7 starters that do.
So special teams for me is kind of like near to me, because that's how I initially got on the field when I first got here. My freshman year, me and JB, we used to joke around. We were special teams All-Americans, because we weren't really sniffing the field with all those guys that were playing that year. But man, we was on special teams, all 4 units. So, you know, just being on that unit, it means a lot. And so just approaching it every day, you know, Coach Smart, he says that the best players play special teams. So just being able to play special teams means a lot, just because that means that the coach thinks that you're, you know, good enough to be on there.
We got to see a little bit more of Smile from game 1 to game 2. Just how big is it for this defense to get him back out there and getting him playing, you know, back home?
I'd say it's really big. You know, Smile's a really good player. He brings a lot of energy, a lot of talent back to our defense, and just having a guy out there like that, you know, who can go sideline to sideline, make all the calls and checks, it's huge.
Any more for Kamari? All right, thank you, Kamari.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Lauren.